Okay.
You can type it all in. You can put all of your allegations, what you're complaining or what you're upsetting. You can fill all of that in. You can submit it, and it will go to the police department. It will get assigned. It'll get assigned to me because these officers work for me.
Okay. And it's your officers that I want to complain about.
Okay. And then when you submit your complaint, I'll investigate it.
You're not going to investigate nothing because you're stating that you were there and they did absolutely nothing wrong.
Well, I'll have to because I'm their supervisor. I mean, if you don't want me to investigate, you can ask
No,
someone else to do it.
I would like this written down on paper and documented.
It will be when you submit it as a formal complaint.
So I have to submit it to the Internal Affairs
No,
Division.
it doesn't go to Internal Affairs.
Well, I'll go down to Internal Affairs.
Well, you can do that, but they're just going to.
I don't care what they're going to do. It'll make me feel better as a citizen.
Well, you can do that. You have that right.
Because I feel that you don't even give a crap about my rights or what I.
I do care about your rights, but the complaint that you're
don't.
making is not valid because you did record us. We didn't keep you from recording us. You did record
You did.
us.
He impeded my camera from being able to record what they were doing.
No, maybe you didn't get the quality that you wanted, but you did get a recording.
No,
You got exactly
purposely,
what you wanted, which was a recording.
They purposely put their lights
Can I
in my
ask you a
camera. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, first of all, what do you do for a living?
I'm a insurance adjuster.
Insurance adjuster. Okay.
So I help out I'm USA certified, so I help out military members all the time.
So this is something you just do on your
Correct.
off time.
Correct.
Why do you want to come out and confront police officers?
Because police need to start being held accountable for
What
the misconduct they do.
That you didn't like when we were standing in the street monitoring the crowd. What about that did you not like?
It's not about something I don't like. Anybody can.
I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around why you want to film us. I don't care. I know that you're right, because there's 500 cameras in Bricktown.
Correct.
We're
all over the
filmed
place.
all the time. Heck, we have cameras now.
Correct.
I guess I'm just trying to understand what the purpose of you filming us just standing there is.
To hold police accountable in case anything goes wrong.
So you're just there hoping something's going to happen that you can get
I'm there to
film.
document for public interest
Right.
what police do in the
Well, I think
in
the
their
public pretty much knows what we do. We're out there every weekend. They see what we're doing.
Okay, but all these cameras now that are coming to light and police crossing that thin blue line and costing people, injuring people, thinking that they have qualified immunity for crimes that they're committing.
So you're upset because you believe that some actions that police are taking out here is illegal.
Police do cross the line every single day.
Well, I'm saying that's what you're upset about.
No, I'm just out here to hold police accountable. I'm out here for public
you're
interest.
hoping to catch some transgression.
No, I'm out here to document police doing their job. That's all I'm out here doing.
Okay, I understand that.
So, and if I catch something, I will report it.
I understand that.
So, and that's all I want to do.
Okay.
I mean, it's my right. I fought for my country for 8 years.
Right.
I've been shot at. I mean, it's plain. I mean, it's really that simple. I mean, that's.
What brought this about? Have you had an incident with the police in the past? Or?
Matter of fact, I have.
That's no shock.
I had just come back from Hurricane
So you're
Harvey.
upset because you've had a bad experience with police. I'm
My
just
bad
saying that
experience.
because what you're doing and the feelings that you have and the filming and the confrontational attitude that you have is actually pretty rare, especially around here. Most people don't do this. We're not filmed by a lot of people.
Right, but it's becoming
rare.
more and more common every single day.
Not really. The media would make you think that, but it's actually not. I've been out here 28 years, and this is very, very rare.
That your police officers are being recorded?
That was being just filmed by people because they just want to stand across the street and film us for whatever reason.
And
now it's become more popular in the last few years because the media has
But what I don't understand
made
is
the nation feel a certain way.
when I was asking your officers for their names and badge numbers, they flat out wouldn't answer me. And then one cop started mocking me.
Mocking you how?
And that's the one with the glasses on. He was on the left of the officer with the ball cap. I think it's 1471 was his badge number. The buff guy. But the other officer in the glasses, he was sitting there mocking me. when I was trying to ask him questions.
What questions were you asking other than badge number and name?
Name and badge numbers,
Were you asking any other questions?
and then I tried to ask him the same question I asked you
Which is what?
about a shoplifter can do 180 days in jail, have a $2,000 fine.
We don't care about those discussions. We deal in reality, what's going on in the moment.
What?
We don't what if stuff all day long.
Okay, but you guys are allowed to ask us
What
questions.
if you're yelling at me and filming me, and you're distracting me from something that's going on over here that I need to take care of?
Okay, but
and you're inhibiting me doing my job.
But I wasn't distracting them from
You
anything.
don't know that. You don't know that.
They were standing there holding their flashlights in my
What do you
face.
think that we're doing out there?
You're doing your jobs. You
What
guys
do you
have a
think that
difficult
is?
job.
What do you think that is?
You're supposed to enforce the law. That's what you guys are out
That's
there for.
why you think we're out there on Fridays and Saturday nights?
And stop any fights that break up.
Okay.
Okay.
So the safety of the public, would that be fair to say?
Supreme Court's ruled that you can't
Forget about
be
the
there.
Supreme Court for a second.
See,
Don't get into now you're getting into what ifs again.
it's not
I'm
what
talking
ifs.
about Fridays and Saturday nights when we're out here.
You
we're in
make
the
a
middle
police
of the street.
presence.
What does it appear that we're doing?
Making a police presence to
For
keep
what reason?
to keep everybody in line and making sure that people aren't hurting other people. So I mean,
So to keep people safe.
and that's
Did you say that?
and I understand that's your guys' job.
Okay.
I chose a difficult job when I
So
joined the
would
military
would
at 16
agree
years
or
old.
Disagree that if we're standing in the street watching these crowds in the cookie, I mean, it gets crowded down here. You'd agree with that,
Oh,
right? It gets
absolutely. It
crowded,
was
lots
very
of people
crowded.
down here.
It was very
A
crowded.
lot of alcohol, intoxicated people. We've already established that we're out there to keep people safe. So would you agree or disagree that when we're doing that and we're trying to monitor a crowd of frankly, sometimes several hundred people,
Oh, there was
that
more than
one
that.
guy yelling at us with a camera and we know all he's doing, you weren't in trouble, you weren't fighting, you weren't, as far as I know, you didn't appear to be intoxicated, you
I
weren't
don't drink.
causing problems, you weren't breaking the law, you were just a lone guy standing there yelling whatever across the street.
And my kids were right on behind
Do you see
the
where
officers.
that might inhibit us from watching the crowd because you're distracting us?
Okay, but a police officer.
You're really distracting us for no reason other than you want to film us in the hopes that there'll be some confrontation that you can get on camera, that you can put on YouTube or whatever,
But-
or that you can complain and you can get famous with the media and you can point out how bad the police are.
No, it's not
really
about-
what your effort is.
But you know what? There's good cops too. Okay, and a lot of times when I'm at a convenience store, and I do this all the time. I see a police officer go up to the counter to buy something. I step in and I put down my debit card. I pay for their tobacco. I pay for their
Yeah, well,
drinks.
don't do that anymore.
Well, that's my right to do that.
Well, it is your right, but I'm saying
So-
don't do that anymore
But why?
because you obviously don't like us.
I love cops.
No, you don't.
I
If you did,
one,
you wouldn't be out there trying to capture
one of my
a moment
best
of
friends is a
messing up.
police officer, an
That doesn't mean
Oklahoma
anything
police
to me.
officer.
It means nothing to me.
But
Just
you don't
saying.
care about me. That's
do
that's
that.
the whole point.
My job is not to care about you.
Correct. Your
My
job
job-
is to enforce
No.
the laws.
My job is to make sure that you are treated fairly under the law.
Okay, but I'm
That's
not being
it.
treated fairly.
You are being treated fairly.
I don't feel like I'm being treated
Well, you
fairly.
may not feel that, but it doesn't mean
Okay.
that's not happening. Your complaint is you were inhibited from your right of shooting a video, and that is not
Under
true.
Turner versus Driver.
You shot a video.
Under Turner versus
What you're
Driver,
upset about is maybe the quality of your video is not what you wanted.
The
and you're
police would
also
not
upset
identify
that You were
themselves.
trying to start a confrontation with police officers that you did not
I
get.
would not
and
start
now
a
you're mad about
confrontation
it. So
with
now
police
you're going to
officers.
go down and file a complaint because you want to stir this up because, again, you want to
It's
cause
my
a
right
confrontation with
to
the police.
record police in public.
It is your right to try to be confrontational with police. You're correct.
I was not being
But the
confrontational at all.
problem is it inhibits our job, it distracts our job, and quite frankly, it makes our job more difficult, and that offends me. Because my job is difficult already. My job is dangerous, it's difficult, I've got a lot of roles I got to play, I got a lot of people I got to look out for, I got a lot of people I got to keep safe, I got people that are breaking the law that I need to take care of to separate from the people that aren't breaking the law.
Okay, and
I'm
don't.
working in the dark, I'm working in the noise, I'm working in the heat, I'm working in the wind, and I got you over there filming for no reason, trying to get a confrontation on film. That's all you and your little buddy with the tripod were trying to do. You want
My
us
little
to
buddy, that
confront
was
you,
my son,
whatever.
and my daughter was out there, my
All you're
17-year-old
trying to
daughter.
do- I mean, we want to be honest, right?
Right.
You're an honest gentleman.
Absolutely.
'Cause I don't know you.
Absolutely.
I have to assume you're a straight up honest guy.
Okay, do you feel
So-
my job's difficult?
Being an insurance adjuster?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I
Okay, let me
generally
tell-
know what you do, but I don't know.
Let me tell you, true story. Happened January 14th last year.
Okay.
Okay, I was working for USAA. I was doing a double pull, which I had to pull my single story ladder on top of a single story to get up onto their 2-story.
Okay.
Ladder slid out from under me. I fell 27 foot and broke my back.
Right.
So dangerous jobs, I understand dangerous jobs. In the military, I was shot at,
Okay.
okay, over in Iraq. So I understand what dangerous jobs are. I fought for those rights.
I bet in Iraq you wouldn't want to be distracted by somebody.
I was distracted every day.
I know, but you don't want to be.
Okay, but we don't treat
Did your job in Iraq require focus?
all the time.
Did it require you paying attention?
All the time.
Did it require you working as a team with your
All the
your
time.
compadres?
All the time.
And so distractions by other people
Okay.
made your job more difficult.
To a degree,
I mean,
correct.
did you have distractions?
Oh,
Or did you
absolutely.
operate in a perfect environment?
Oh no, I
So
was
you had
right,
lots of
right,
distractions.
right in the crap. I was
Would you
right in the
rather
crap.
have not had those?
That was what I chose to do at the time.
Well, I know it happens, and I know
Right.
you can't control that.
Correct.
But wouldn't it have been easier if you didn't have those distractions?
Okay, but we still had
Hang on, it's a simple
a
question.
responsibility
Yes
to
or
the people
no?
over there.
Yes or no? Would
We
it have
had
been
to preserve
easier
their
to
rights.
not have those distractions.
Would have been much easier.
Okay. And if that person had said to you, you know what, I feel like I'm distracting you, so I'm going to not do that anymore so that you can do your job, wouldn't that have been nice?
Okay, but I wasn't
Would
distracting
that
them.
have been nice?
Absolutely.
You can be that person. How
But-
about being that person for us?
But how
How
about
about being a law-abiding citizen that cares about everybody and
Okay.
just say, you know what?
How about me being that
standing
one
on
guy-
the curb yelling at the police for no reason, filming them for no reason, making their job more difficult and distracting them from what they really should be doing? Maybe I shouldn't, as a good citizen, be doing that.
okay? How about me also being that one guy, that one activist that stands up for his rights, out there recording police,
Why are you
showing
having to stand
them
up for your rights? Who's inhibiting your rights? You stood out there and you made a lot of film.
For almost over 4 hours.
Yeah. Who stopped you from doing that?
Nobody.
So what's the problem?
The problem is when I put
No
my
one
cameras on
inhibited you
them.
from doing it.
When I put my cameras on them, they intentionally blinded my camera from recording what they were doing. That is my complaint. And under Turner versus Driver, they're not allowed to do that. They're not.
Because you got worse quality video or what?
No, because that's impeding my First Amendment right. My First Amendment protected activity.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it is.
Well, I disagree with you.
And then when I asked them for their names and badge numbers, they refused to give it. And then when I asked for a supervisor, they refused to give me a supervisor.
Well, I was standing there because I saw you. You're over by Pink Parrot and your son is over across the street. on
My
the
son
other
and my
side.
daughter and her
Yeah,
friend.
I saw you. I was there the whole time. Never heard you ask for a supervisor. Not one time.
I've got it on video. So,
Well, like I'm saying, you may have said it in your phone,
no, it was.
but you didn't say it to us.
Absolutely, I did. And I've got it on video
Okay.
showing I was yelling for a
Okay.
supervisor.
Well, I didn't hear it, and it doesn't matter because you came over here and you asked for one, and now you got one.
Well, but I got one that's not willing to take a complaint
No, I'm
and
willing to
address
take a
the
complaint.
issue
I'm
with the police
saying-
officer.
I'm saying if you want me to do a formal investigation of a complaint, then you have to document it.
Okay, then I will go to Internal Affairs and document it.
And you can do that. I'm saying you don't have to do that. You can just
Okay.
do it online and submit it like that.
Okay, I feel more comfortable.
Well, I understand you said that. You feel
Right.
better. Okay.
I feel more comfortable
I
talking
just
to
want
somebody.
to prepare you
and
that
all-
Internal Affairs is probably going to suggest that you go to the website and fill out the formal complaint and submit
and
it.
if that's what they tell me to do, then that's what I'll do.
They will tell
Okay,
you. to
my
do that.
my initial action for coming down here was because I wanted to speak to their supervisor
Right.
to let their supervisor know that, hey, a citizen of our community has a complaint about what they did,
Right.
about not providing a supervisor, about not giving me their names when I requested it, and I wanted their supervisor to address that issue with those two officers. That's all I want.
Did you call 911 that night and ask for a supervisor?
Why would I call for, that's abuse of a 911?
No, it isn't. It's just our phone number. It's not an emergency number. It's just our phone number.
The 911?
Yeah. It's just a phone number. That's TV. Makes you think it's an emergency number. It's just our phone number.
Well, we have a statute here for 911 abuse.
Yeah,
So-
but calling and asking for a supervisor is not abuse.
To me,
Calling and saying I spilled my ice cream and I'm mad about it, come to my house. That's abuse.
to me, if I really thought that I needed immediate emergency, I would have called 911, or I would have called the non-emergency
Well, I
dispatch
understand
number.
maybe you didn't call because you didn't
So-
feel like it was necessary or whatever. I'm just telling you, in the future, if anything like this happens, it's really much better to get a supervisor right then and there instead of after the fact.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, again, as someone that's done this for 28 years,
Okay.
no problem. You can call 911. I'm Joe Blow. I'm in the 200 block of Sheridan, and I would like a lieutenant to come by and speak to me.
Okay.
You can do that.
And that's what I'll
And
do.
it'll be me because I'm Bricktown supervisor.
Okay.
And when I show up and when you tell me that, I'll tell you the same thing.
Okay.
They have the right to shine their flashlight on you to
They
see what
don't.
you're
If
doing.
you'll
They do.
please review Turner versus Driver,
I'm not going to because I know
See?
they have the right to do that.
that you're not willing to.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, they have the right to do that.
Okay. And
Someone's
we'll
yelling
see.
at me. They have something in their hand. It's dark. There's a crowd. And there's not a lot of people. And I want to go like this to see what
And
they're
they
doing.
can
Got
clear-
every right in the world to do it.
Okay. For how long do they have the right
I
to
can
do
do as
it?
many times as I feel like I need to find out what they're doing.
So to sit there for over 5 minutes and flash their lights on me is more than suitable.
If they can articulate that they're trying to figure out what you're doing from that distance, yes, they can do it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't think you have a grasp on what we're able to do to ensure our safety.
Okay. I have rights, and
Yeah, you do have
I'm going to
rights.
make sure
But no
none
one
of
came
those
across the
rights.
street. No one handcuffed you. No one knocked the phone out of your hand.
Eh.
Nobody did any of that. But we do have the right, if you're going to continue to stand there, to continually figure
Okay,
out
and
what you're doing.
that's what Turner versus Driver was all about.
Maybe.
It's a law. It's ruled on by the Supreme Court of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how far it had to be taken, and it is
Which
now
means that a
law.
lot of people disagreed about it.
The-
That's how they go that far.
Local police department, absolutely. In the local municipalities, it was shut down. It went to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Okay, and the Supreme Court says yes, they cannot impede your right to record. They can't do it.
And they didn't because you have the video.
No, they did.
The fact that you have the video,
That was
you
specifically.
got to understand what the spirit of it is. You got to understand what impede means. Do you understand what
They
impede
specifically,
means? Do you know
absolutely.
What impede means?
I
to
know
stop
what-
or slow down.
Correct.
They didn't do either because you have video.
Okay, they
That
blocked.
your video is the evidence that
That's
you weren't
right.
impeded.
My video, I was impeded.
No, you
my
have
video.
you have the video.
My video could not see anything once they
If
started.
you're upset about what you got on your video, that's your issue.
Okay, Turner
not
versus
ours.
Driver though.
We don't have. Let me see if I can say it this way. You don't have a right to request of us that we give you what you want on video. That's not our responsibility.
I'm not asking for that. I'm asking
You
to be
came
allowed
down
to
here
document.
to film us,
I'm at.
and that's exactly what you did.
I
No
came
one
down to
stopped you.
document police officials in their official capacity doing their job.
Okay.
That's what I came
Yeah,
down to
you
do.
did that.
Okay. Went and like I said, Turner versus Driver, and that was the
You
specific
came down
ruling.
here to film us doing our job, and you did that.
You're,
Did you not?
you're not wanting to listen to what I'm saying.
Yes
So,
or no? Did you film us?
Absolutely. And I'm going to
Then
be
you
down there
accomplished what you wanted to
every
do.
weekend from here on out until I die. So,
Okay.
and I'm going
I
to
haven't
make sure
seen you down here before, though.
that was my first night.
Oh, really? Have you done this other places?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
What has happened in those places?
Nothing.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you would fall in the video vigilante category.
How would I be a vigilante?
Well, I mean, that's just kind of a nickname that they give people that film police.
So now,
try to catch
now you're
controversy.
profiling me
No, I'm just saying that's just a nickname they give people.
because we're.
I didn't start the name. Don't get upset at me. I didn't invent it.
Yeah, but you put me in that category.
Well, I'm just saying it seems like that because that's people that are under that nickname. This is what they do. They go around to police departments, police officers, whatever. They try
And do First Amendment audits.
They try to get pulled over in their traffic stops because they want confrontations with the police. I mean,
Well,
that's really all it is. You're trying to get a confrontation with the police.
No, actually, I'm
Yeah,
not.
You really are.
Why can't I be that one guy out there
Well,
trying
you're not
to?
one guy. There's a lot of people like you that do this.
Exactly.
Well, I wouldn't
But-
say a lot. I mean, there's a few.
There's several here in Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, I've only seen a few.
But why can't I be that one guy who actually post videos showing cops doing their jobs correctly.
No, you can.
And
you certainly have that right.
most of my videos that are up there, most of them show police doing or interacting with community just the way they're supposed to. So
I don't know about that. But
you haven't seen my channel, so take a look.
So okay, like we already established, you're a very honest guy, right?
Correct.
So let me ask you this question: if you have a night of filming, and you basically just film officers, not just here, maybe wherever, officers just standing around doing their job, no problem, no issues with doing the job, whatever. You get your film, you go home, and then you have another night, you come out and you have maybe some officers get upset or they get in a confrontation or yell at you, whatever. Which of those videos is more valuable to you?
None of them are valuable to me.
Come on. You said you were an honest guy.
I post every one of my videos that I post online are live streamed.
Okay.
So
you're live streaming it while you're doing it?
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's unique because a lot of people don't do that. They'll record it and put it on later.
Yeah, no. I don't know how to do all the editing crap. I know as far computer-wise, I know my job as an adjuster. I can go through my insurance estimating program like you wouldn't believe. Right. I know every ins and outs of it. But when it comes to editing videos and all that other crap, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll look. I mean, I have literally 4 hours and 27 minutes because I don't know how to edit videos. I'm not even going to get to that point.
Right. Maybe you should. It might be more efficient and save some time.
I'd rather not because then it doesn't show an accurate depiction of what actually happened while I was out there.
Unedited so people can't say you messed with it.
Correct.
Okay,
so that way I'm being honest on both sides. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I've only had 2 videos that a police officer did something questioned. That one from early Saturday night, and another one from when I was in Richmond, Virginia. And those guys were great. They even offered me bottled water because it was a hot day. But I had one guy come across the street and tell me to go suck a D because I was recording what was going on across the street.
What happened in that complaint?
I didn't file a complaint.
No?
There was no complaint to be filed. The police did everything right. They were perfect.
But what that guy said to you, I would think that would upset
He wasn't a police officer.
Oh, it was just a citizen.
He was a citizen who was under investigation at that time. And he came over and said I couldn't record what they were doing over there because it was
an active... So really you just have one video of police that you don't like?
No, there's a couple on there that you'll see. So...
No, but I mean one instance. Just from here? What was the other instance that you didn't like?
The traffic stop of my son and my daughter. But those are their videos. So I didn't actually get to record it.
So you just personally have one that you don't like?
No, I have 2 because when I went...
the second one? That's what I'm trying to establish.
When I went to the traffic stop that they were on for my daughter and my son.
You went to their traffic stop?
Right. Because it was 1:30 in the morning, and they were taking my daughter to jail. My 17-year-old. I didn't know at the time.
How old was she?
17.
Well, you don't go to jail when you're 17.
That's what they were telling her, because she called me in a frantic, saying, "Dad, they're taking me to jail." She wasn't. She was just a passenger in a vehicle. So.
Well, she didn't go to jail if she's under 18.
Right, so but that's not what they were telling her. They said, and then when
was that here?
In Mustang.
Oh, Mustang. Okay.
So and then when
why did you go out there?
Because I wanted to find out what was going on.
How old is your son?
My son's 23.
Oh, okay.
But he was just
his girlfriend.
No, my daughter and her friend, and my son.
The traffic stop was your daughter and her friends.
And my son was in the back of the car.
There also there.
Okay, it was my daughter, my son, and her friend.
Did they call you and tell you to come there?
Yeah, my daughter did because she was. They had pulled my son out of the car because he refused to give them his ID because he hadn't done anything.
What happened when you got there?
So
what had done? He was a passenger also.
He was sitting in the back seat. My daughter was sitting in the passenger seat. They didn't even tell Haley what she was being pulled over for. My daughter's friend.
Right.
They pulled her over, pulled her out of the car, and then pulled both of them out of the car immediately.
So what eventually happened with that?
My son was arrested for.
What was he arrested for?
For failure to ID and something.
Failure to ID.
Failure to ID and for.
I don't even know. That's not even a charge I've even ever heard of.
That's what the ticket says: failure to ID and.
What
I have to look.
The other people?
My daughter was cited for possession and
Of
marijuana, and obstruction. That's what he was charged with, obstruction. She was charged with obstruction, and he was charged with obstruction, and then but it was the
so
possession.
he was charged with basically interfering with the police officer during an official process.
Right.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And she was charged with the same thing,
Same
plus
thing.
possession.
Plus possession, but it wasn't on her person. It was just in the car.
Well, they could have charged everybody in the car.
Correct.
And then what was the driver charged with?
I have no idea. That was somebody else's dog.
What was the officer's reaction when you came?
They asked me for my ID. I gave them my ID, let them run me. I told them they wouldn't find any warrants, nothing. I have a clean record. I'm there for my daughter. They said, well, could you go wait at the police department for us? This was at Freddy's Frozen Custard, and their police department is just like rocks throw away where you can see the parking lot of Freddy's. Mm-hmm. So I went over there, and they told my daughter that I left and that I'd be spending the night in jail, that she'd be spending the night in jail. So it sort of upset me.
What happened to your daughter? Did she go anywhere?
No, I stayed there and waited for them. 3.5 hours later, they released her to me.
They're at the station?
At the station. So, and you can check that video out on my channel.
Well, I don't care about that. I'm just curious about the other time. So what in that was bad that you didn't like?
The way they addressed me, talked to me, talked down to me.
I imagine they probably weren't too wild about you showing up on their stop.
Correct. But I mean, I was there for my daughter. I mean, I had a legitimate reason to find out what was going on, where I needed to go.
You had a reason, but you didn't necessarily have a right.
Every citizen has a right to record police doing what they're doing.
Well, to record, but not. But they could have asked you to leave, and then if you didn't leave, they could have arrested you.
And I told them, okay, I'll back off. I'll come over here.
Again, you showing up is kind of like the deal the other night. You're causing a distraction, and you're interfering in their official duty.
Okay, so
you're adding just yet another person to the equation that they have to monitor.
Okay, and
thereby making our job harder.
They knew I was the father of one of the girls.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so they knew, but it does matter to me.
No, it doesn't matter because they don't truly know you.
Correct.
Okay, you could have said, "I'm her father." I don't know that unless you're bringing a birth certificate and a DNA test. I don't know that.
Well, they had already ID'd her. I have the same last name, so they do know that.
Yeah, but you also could have been a guy that just got out of prison, doesn't like cops, and was going to show up and start trouble.
Well, and they took my ID and ran my ID.
I know, but that's yet another person that they had to deal with that they wouldn't have had to if you hadn't.
Okay, but it's my daughter who's involved.
Doesn't matter.
I can't care about my daughter.
You can care about your daughter.
Okay.
But if you show up, you're adding to the problem and you're interfering.
Okay, and you and I are not going to see.
Let me ask you this: if you had shown up because your daughter called you, and I understand that, call the parent. I get it. I understand you caring about your daughter. If you'd showed up and the officer said, "Listen, we're conducting official business. You need to leave and go wait at the police station," would you have done that?
I did do that.
Did you film?
Absolutely. I filmed from the time I left my driveway.
From the time you showed up till the time you went to the police station, how long was that?
My whole video is only 13 minutes long.
No, I mean from the time you got to the traffic stop.
About maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 3 minutes.
Okay.
It took me longer to drive over there from my house than it did for me to be on the scene and off the scene.
Right.
So.
I understand.
So they told me what I needed to do. That's what I did.
Right. And you weren't charged with anything?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
They had nothing to charge me with. I mean, I'm just a concerned dad.
They just chose not to.
I was just a concerned dad.
And I understand that, which is probably why they didn't charge you with anything. But they could have.
I would have fought it. So.
Well, and I understand that, but it doesn't mean you would have won it.
Correct. That's what a court's for.
True.
So.
Very right.
But, I mean, I do have a legal right to record, and that's what I plan on doing.
And you have every right to do that.
Correct.
No one's saying that you don't.
Correct. But
So
I will be.
I don't really understand the issue.
It's a hobby that I'd like to do.
And you're doing it.
I know.
No one's keeping you from doing it.
But Turner versus Driver specifically forbids you guys to do that.
To do what?
To blind somebody's camera from recording what was going on.
They walk over with their flashlight and do this while they're talking to you?
No, it can be. It can be.
Is there a
And
distance set out in that court case?
actually, there is.
What is the distance?
The distance from where the police officers were blinding him was completely on the other side of the parking lot, which is almost 75 feet. They intentionally blocked his camera from
So is it
recording.
only a light?
Their flashlights, and then they walked over directly
is
to
it
him.
only a light? What if they had held up a sheet? Would you have had a problem with that?
Absolutely not.
Why not? They're still blocking your view. That's actually worse than your video and nothing.
And that's okay.
Why is that okay, but the light's not okay? Because the
Because
light's in your precedent?
Yeah, because they're not blocking me from recording what they're doing.
They would be if they held up a sheet.
No, that's what they're doing, holding up a sheet. So at that point,
So you're just filming them holding up a sheet.
that's what they're
That's
doing.
cool. You're all right with that.
Absolutely. Why
So
wouldn't
why
I
aren't
be?
you okay with filming them holding up a flashlight?
Because you couldn't see anything.
Well, you couldn't with the sheet either.
I can
You're
record
playing
them
semantics
holding the
now.
sheet,
You're playing semantics now.
but I'm not sitting there
The
recording.
sheet's not in your court case. That's why you're okay with it.
Because
If the
that's
court
what they're
case had
doing.
specifically barred a sheet, you'd be complaining about the sheet.
Absolutely. Well, probably then. Yeah.
You would. I mean, let's be honest.
But
you would.
legally-
you're picking the precedent that supports your case.
Correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's cherry picking. That's the term for that. Cherry picking.
But it's my right. It's a
It's your
right,
right to pick out a case that supports your cause.
to record police officers in public. Absolutely, because that's a right that was given to us by the Supreme Court. It's a federal law now.
Yeah, I think you're using the case precedent incorrectly.
I'm not.
I think you are. I think you are. It's my opinion.
If you want, I mean, just on a weekend or something in your casual time, look up Turner versus
Yeah,
Driver.
I'm not going to.
Well, and I didn't figure you would.
Well,
but,
I mean, I don't need to.
but if you're enforcing laws, that is a law.
What law did we enforce?
You're not enforcing that law because
I don't need to read it?
they blocked me from recording, which is my my right.
Just be clear once again. They didn't block you from recording. Your camera was running.
They stopped my camera from being able to record
Your
what
camera was running.
Absolutely.
Was it not?
Absolutely. It was running, but
So they did not stop you from filming.
But in Turner versus Driver, it specifically states that a police officer cannot impede with a light or anything else from them.
Or anything else? What is anything else defined as?
It doesn't specify. So
So that's open for
interpretation,
yeah.
subjective, correct.
Okay.
But Turner versus Driver, and I mean, took it all the way to the Supreme Court.
Did it mention the precedents the officers need to secure their own safety?
How was his safety?
Did it mention that?
I have no idea. I'd have to read the entire thing. But it specifically states in there that we
Well,
can't.
there's a lot of specific case law also through every court allowing officers to secure their own safety however they
Okay,
deem
there
necessary.
is none, not one U.S. statute, not one Oklahoma statute for officer safety. Not one.
It's not true at all.
If you can find a statute, I'd love to see it.
Let me ask you this. When an officer gets involved in a shooting out here,
Which happens quite a bit.
I'm going to say defending their life. You may disagree with that, but I'm going to say defending their life. What gives them protection against going to prison for murder?
Most of you guys don't.
What gives them that protection?
They're
I'll help you. The Supreme Court.
no.
Yes, it's the Supreme Court and the officer's discernible reason in his mind that his life's in jeopardy. That's what allows him to take that action to defend his life.
Okay, but
It's a Supreme Court decision. So see, now I've used a precedent to help my case. We can
okay,
do this all day long.
that's in the shooting.
The fact of the matter is, your complaint is not valid because they
My
did not stop
complaint
you from
is
video.
valid
Well,
under Turner versus Driver.
I don't feel that it is, but again, let's just be very, very clear about a few things because we could stand out here all night.
Correct.
Actually, I think we've had a pretty good conversation.
So do I.
I mean, we're not fighting, we're not arguing, yelling
Correct.
at each other, so we've done pretty well.
Correct.
Okay, and
And
this
I-
is
and that's-
actually, as the police department, this is actually what we want. Okay.
Exactly.
We want
You
to
guys-
be able to talk with citizens, have a good conversation,
And gain that
hear
public
their views,
trust.
They hear our views. Now, there may be some things that we don't agree on.
Right.
Okay, but the fact still remains. You could have stood here and cussed me, yelled, been mad, spit on me, whatever, and if someone had come up and threatened you, I would have defended you, no matter what.
Right.
We may not have been friends after, but I would have defended you. But that's not the case because we've actually gotten along pretty well.
Correct.
Okay, you've told your side, I've told mine. We've had some disagreements.
Correct.
But let's just be clear because, like I said, we can stand out here till 2 in the morning. I'm not really
Correct.
interested in doing that unless you have other questions. So let's be clear about some things. One, do you have the right to come out here on the weekends and film us? I believe absolutely 100% yes, you do. And
Okay.
you're more than welcome to do that if you want to do it.
Okay.
Here's the other thing. If you would like to file what we in the police department call a formal complaint, which is something that's actually documented
Yep.
and gets formally investigated, which is where the formal part comes from,
Yep.
then you have to submit that. That's incumbent upon you. I can't do it.
Okay.
Okay? In other words, you can't come to me and say, I don't like how these officers acted. I want to file a complaint. You investigate it. I can't. I'm not going to run in there and write your complaint down and investigate it. Okay? Because it doesn't. Our process in the police department doesn't work like that. So I'm
Right.
explaining to you how our process works. Okay? And that process is you have to file a formal complaint,
Okay.
which means it has to be documented. Hang on one second. What's up, fellas?
I want to know if I can make a police report.
Call 911 is the best way.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it on?
I got somebody broke my nose yesterday. I got knocked out yesterday.
I'm gonna let you go. Sounds like you need to take some.
Just hang on 2
Okay.
seconds. Okay, so you just need to make a report. Do you know who the suspect is?
Yeah.
Yeah, just call 911, tell them. So this is something that happened yesterday. They're not, suspect's not around or anything
It was
anymore?
early this morning. Very early.
Well, but I mean, the suspect's not like a block
Oh,
over. or
he's
anything.
not here. No.
Okay, for your convenience, if you want, you can make it over the phone.
Okay.
You don't actually have to meet an officer or go anywhere. They can take it over the phone. But if you want to meet an officer, you can request to have them come meet you, and then they'll take one from you.
Okay. It has to be 911.
Yeah,
or
'cause that's just our
dispatch?
number. No, yeah, just call 911 because it's a police report.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
dispatcher will
they can help
just. You can tell the dispatcher I'm happy giving it over the phone, or you can tell them I'd like to meet with the police officer. They'll do either one.
with that? Okay. And another question is like, let's say that guy that he got caught with some kind of trouble, and you guys looking how the system is gonna show in the system that I made a police report on this guy since he broke my nose.
Yeah, but I mean, we would know that. He wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I meant
Yeah.
to say. Like, you guys would see on the system that he did that, and I made a report against him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I know. And he would get in trouble for that, or
Yeah, that's assault.
Well, if
I have
it's valid
proof
that
from
he
the
did
hospital.
it, yeah.
I have proof from the hospital. So
Well, you have proof that your nose was broken, but we would have to investigate a little further as to whether he's the one that actually did it.
no, I have witnesses on that one.
Okay, well, I mean, that's great too, but that's something that the detectives will do.
Okay, so
They'll talk to you, they'll talk to him. If they feel like it's valid, they'll arrest him.
And the thing is, I don't want to like get the address where he lives at exactly because like that guy, I found out he's in a gang member, and I'm.
Well,
not trying to get
this is a
myself
problem a lot of people have. It's very hard to make an anonymous assault report. Either you want him prosecuted or you don't. You can't really have it both.
I want to talk to someone about it, and I mean, I have my nose broken, you know what I'm saying? So I still have to go to see another doctor and spend money and all that stuff.
Well, then I would start with an assault report. Like I say, call 911, do it over the phone, or have an officer meet you in person. Make the report. Once the report is made, it'll get sent to the assault detectives. They'll call you, and then you can discuss all your questions with them.
Okay, no problem.
Tell them
Appreciate
everything
it.
that you want to do.
All right, no problem. Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
no
Thank you.
problem. Okay, so let's just reiterate. You want to come out and film, knock yourself out, you have every right to do that, no problem, we don't care. Second of all, the process. If you want to file a formal complaint, it has to be documented on paper, which means you want to go to IA, go ahead. I'm just telling you, just
Right.
because we've been getting along, I'm being honest with you,
Yeah.
they're not going to take it. They're going to assign it to someone
Right.
else. It's going to skip them completely because Internal Affairs' job is to investigate officers internally, not from citizens.
Okay.
Okay, so does that make sense?
Yep.
Kind of.
Makes sense.
Anyway, if you want to do that, go ahead. They're just going to pass it back off.
Okay.
Okay. Then when that comes in, it'll be read. You'll be called in. You'll sign it and notarize it.
Yep.
You'll be called in. There'll be a formal interview. Take down all your facts.
Yep.
And then it'll be investigated. They'll come up with the conclusion, and then the department will send you a letter. Hey, we found that your complaints were valid, and these officers will be dealt with accordingly.
Right.
Or we found that your complaint is not valid. Thank you. And that's it.
Yep.
You'll never know anything else besides that, no
Correct.
matter what even happens to the officers.
Correct.
But that's how that process will work. Okay. So that's that. Okay, as far as
Okay.
being clear. So are there any other questions that you have that I can answer
Nope.
so that we're clear about what you want to do or what you don't want to do? Or
Nope. But like I said, my initial reason for coming down here was just to talk to their supervisor,
Right.
and have their supervisor let them know, hey, if a citizen asks you guys for your name and badge numbers, it's our policy that you give it to them. If they ask for ask for your name and badge number, you have to give it to them.
That's true, but could I give you some advice on that?
Yeah.
Okay. If someone walks up to us and we're involved in a law enforcement action, and someone says, "Can I get your name and badge number?" You're absolutely correct. We're bound to give it to them. Standing across, for purposes across the street, I mean, you're not standing like we are.
Right.
You're on the other side of the street, and yelling it out. Probably not going to work in a big crowd of people because we get yelled at a lot. You're probably not going to get their name and badge number that way.
Right.
Okay?
Well,
I mean, let's just be honest. You're not. Okay? That's
Okay.
like me standing across the street from you. Hey, what's your address?
right.
You're probably not going to give it to me. But if I come
As a
to
police officer, if
No,
you were
hey,
legally
no,
required
if
to
I'm
have
chilling
it,
across the street, you're not going to give it to me. Trust me, you're not going to give it to me. But if I come over and I'm in an official process and I need your address or something, you're going to give it to me.
correct.
Okay? That's kind of how that works. So I would suggest if you really want their name and badge numbers, there's two ways that you can go about it. One, you either need to say, "Officer, could you come over here and speak with me? Or may I come and speak to you? We can allow you to cross the street. We're not going to arrest you for jaywalking." But you can make that request.
Okay. Well,
But
I
the
didn't know
talk-
that, and I didn't want to.
Well, that's why I'm giving you
get
this
in
advice.
trouble for
I
it,
understand that.
so.
That's why I'm giving you this advice. Okay? But that is better to talk like you and I are talking right now. You're going to get a lot farther than yelling it from a crowd.
Right.
Because honestly, we get yelled at a ton of stuff from crowds. Okay? So that's the better way to go about that.
Right.
Okay? Even if you're yelling for a supervisor, you're probably not going to achieve that either yelling from a crowd. Now, if you come across the street and you're talking to an officer like you're talking to me and you request a supervisor and he doesn't call one, then yeah, I'm going to have an issue with that officer.
Okay.
Okay? And that will be corrected. But yelling across the street, that's not the way to go about it.
Okay.
Okay? But if you have that, if you don't want to cross the street or for whatever reason it doesn't work out, like I said, call 911, request a supervisor.
Okay.
Okay? We'll come talk to you anytime, just like we're doing right now.
Okay.
This is how this happened. Dispatch called me. This guy out front has a complaint about an officer, wants to talk to a lieutenant. I came out. We're having this conversation.
Okay.
Okay? So I think to me, it's more of we could have done things better.
Correct.
Okay? Could have done
And
things
that's-
more efficiently than the way that it happened.
Correct.
Okay? And maybe both ways. Okay? Now, as far as the shining the light and checking you out, I'm just going to tell you as a police officer and as a supervisor of these guys, I don't have a problem with that if they're articulating to me why they're doing it.
Okay. Now, can I just bring up one other point?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Before we got to where they were standing in the median,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they were actually, you know where that $10 parking lot is, where it's like that overpass thing goes for the on the other street behind them. That's where that overpass thing starts. All the police officers were actually.
Where were you looking? Over here by Bass Pro?
No. See, it's actually.
Oh, the
'cause
Walnut Bridge here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right down there
Right.
on that street we came in on.
Okay.
Right, because here's where we were recording from. Actually, we were recording from this street right here, and then the other street where all the police were on their bikes and everything
On the corner?
on the corner.
Yeah, I was there too.
Okay.
I didn't see you, but I saw your son.
Yeah, I was actually there, and my daughter, my son, and then those guys started dancing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so-
you're in danger of that too anytime you have a camera.
Exactly, because
Right.
all drunk people love to be on camera.
Right.
So, but that's where you guys had all seen us to start with, and
Well, that's
so
actually the third place that you had been seen, but we knew you were out walking around.
I didn't know I'd.
Yeah,
you guys
other
had-
officers had seen you other places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so, and that's all we were doing was just out recording.
I understand. I remember seeing you on the corner, and
Yeah.
we didn't do anything over there either.
Absolutely not.
Again,
you guys were all
never
very
confronted
professional.
by anyone.
You guys were all very professional over there, and so when
Which, by the way, was the same group of guys that was
Correct.
was in front of you earlier.
except for the guy
I mean,
with the glasses
later.
so because he was in a police vehicle.
Right, he went on a bike.
So right.
Right.
Yeah, and he's the one who was mocking me. And that when he started mocking me, that's when it made me even more upset. The mocking part.
Was he saying anything intelligible?
No.
Like saying things back to you, or
No.
explain to me the mocking part again.
He was literally doing.
Because to be honest with you, I'm actually more interested in that than in the flashlights.
He literally was, when I was trying to ask him for his name and badge number,
Right.
and could I speak to a supervisor? He was, and they do
Like
it,
exactly
and then,
like that?
and then going like this, and then exactly like that, and it's on the video.
Okay.
So, and he was the one in the glasses.
By the way, and I know this is probably a stupid thing to say, but don't erase the video.
Yeah, it's not. I can't. I don't know how to erase it off YouTube.
Well, no, I mean, because we're not going to bring YouTube in here, but you need to bring your phone.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So, absolutely. So, and that part of it's not on this video. The only thing on this video, on the camera video, shows when they started flashing their lights on me. My son recorded it from across the street,
Yeah,
and you
he
can
was
see
behind.
right. He can see me all lit up. So my son and my daughter. But no, that's what he literally was doing, and he'd do this, and then he'd do the and then put his arms behind his head and lean back and stretch and do this again and throw his head back and do that.
Okay.
So that's what upset me most of all. So,
Okay.
but other than that,
What would you like the outcome of the complaint to be?
just to have a talk with the officers. That's it.
Well, you're probably not going to be able to talk with them.
No, for the
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
you
For me,
as
yeah.
saying, come on, guys, we're more professional than
Well,
that.
I mean, is that the resolution
So-
that you're seeking?
Absolutely.
Well,
That's all I
okay,
was
so
seeking.
let's back up. We probably could have done this 45 minutes ago. If you're wanting their supervisor, which for the purposes of this conversation is me, well, not purposes, I am their supervisor.
Correct.
If what you're wanting is a sit down to explain what your rights are,
Right.
and what you're going to be doing, and my expectations of them, I can do that in 5 minutes.
I just wanted you to have a talk to the officers saying, look, you could have
Well,
been
if
more...
that's the resolution that you
That's
want,
all I want.
Well, we can do that without a formal complaint.
That's all I'm asking for.
What is your first name?
Kenneth Grants, Grantz. Y'all,
Grants?
Grants, like Grants, New Mexico, except with a Z.
Grantz.
Golf Romeo Alpha November Tango
Grants.
Zulu.
And what's your first name?
Kenneth.
Okay, I'm Lieutenant Whitson.
Okay.
And you can probably see that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
Well, let's discuss this then. Because, and again, I want to be clear, because I'm
Yes,
pretty
sir.
sure you're probably recording me right now. I want to be clear. There are several resolutions to this. One, formal complaint, which you have a right to do. Any citizen has a right to do it. And I've given you the process for that.
I actually don't want a complaint on their files.
I understand that.
So-
But I want you to be very clear.
Right.
I want to lay it all out. Okay. One is the formal complaint, where it would actually be documented on paper.
Okay.
Okay. And it would be investigated by the department.
Okay.
Okay. And it would be in their files. Whether they did something wrong or not,
Right.
it would be in their files.
Right.
That's the documented version.
Right.
The other version is you saying, listen, I would be happy with the resolution, and this could be the end of it, is if you, their supervisor, could sit them down, explain my concerns,
Correct.
and that I would rather them not do this, and be maybe, and maybe we could all agree that we probably could have handled that a little differently in terms of
Absolutely.
the yelling across the street.
Absolutely.
Okay, those are really the two ways that we handle complaints.
And I'd prefer the latter.
Well, we can do that. I mean,
So-
that's easy.
And that's what I came down here to do.
Okay.
So, because
Well, we'll do that then.
I mean,
In
I'm
fact-
sure
in
they're
fact,
good cops.
I've even told people that have come that have said, look, I got to complain about whatever. And listen, we don't have a problem with the public complaining, because I think sometimes the public has this idealized vision that police are perfect, and that we're not. When we're not in uniforms, we're not everyday people like them, because we are.
Right.
You know, there's been many a nights, like I said, been out here 28 years, and I've been a supervisor for 18 of those. I've had many nights where I've had an officer out here get crossways with a citizen, and he's wrong. And I've been like, seriously, man, what's up? And then I'll find out he's had a fight with his wife all day,
Right.
or his kid's sick. Or,
And I understand police have bad
stuff
days.
happens.
Yep.
Well, you'd be rare, because most citizens are like, I don't give a flip about him having a fight. He should have been better.
No.
Well, maybe he should have been, but we're all human.
Correct.
Okay? I mean,
and
that
you
stuff-
guys are not beyond
We get
mistakes.
affected emotionally just like anybody
So,
else.
absolutely.
And I've had situations where someone's come and said, listen, I got to complain, blah, blah, blah. And could you talk to him? Absolutely. I'll talk to him. The next week they get treated bad by another police officer, and they come back and say, well, now I want a formal written complaint, and then we do that.
Yeah, no,
so we end up doing both.
I'm actually not interested in that. So.
Well, that's fine. This is actually easier.
Exactly, and that's all I was
Yeah.
wanting to tell you. And I tried to tell you that earlier, but you weren't wanting to hear it.
Well, but when you said I want to make a formal complaint, and you were talking about it, I wasn't writing anything that had been documented. You have to understand through.
But that was after.
But through police ears, that's formal. I want it investigated
Correct.
formally. That's why I look at it like that.
But when I started to tell you, if the reason why I came down here is so their supervisor could speak to them about it.
Right.
You immediately told me you need to go to file the formal complaint. You need to go here.
Because I thought that's what you wanted. And I was
all
trying
really wanted to
help
do,
you with the process.
Right, and all I really wanted to do was get to talk to their supervisor, have their supervisor talk to them, saying, look, that was unprofessional. You could have handled it better. Especially
we're going to talk about how it was handled. Now, whether it's unprofessional or not, I'm going to tell them that you believe that, but I'm going to get their side of it because I want to be fair.
Correct.
Now, I was standing there. Now, we move around. I'm not by their side everywhere they go, but I think it's fair to get their side.
Absolutely.
Hey, this gentleman explained to me that he saw this, this, and this. What did you see? What did you do? And why? I want to get their side.
Correct.
And then we'll go from there.
Correct.
But I have no problem saying, well, these are his concerns.
And
this is what he saw.
That's what I'm asking for.
And then
that's what I'm asking for.
Well, you are, in some regards, not with the videoing, but in some regards, if more citizens were could have a conversation, it'd be a lot better for everybody. But it's rare.
Key.
But it's very rare.
And I understand that.
Most people, with all due respect, most people that want to film us, only interested in a confrontation.
And I'm not that
That's
at
it.
all.
That's it.
I betrayed Richmond PD. I was deployed over there for USA to do. They had 4 nor'easters back to back to back to back, so there was a lot of damage. So I'm an independent adjuster, so I was deployed over there to handle USA claims, and I just happened to be driving down the road and I saw that, and I mean they were depicted in a great light. I mean, Richmond PD were very courteous. They even offered me bottles of water.
So do you have like a page, like a YouTube page? Because I don't really know how this stuff works.
OKC
so do you have like
Vet.
Followers or what?
Not very many, but I'm getting bigger. But it's OKC Vet HPA. And the HPA stands for Holding Police Accountable. So, but OKC VET HPA. So, not very many videos up there because, like I said, I'm not.
How long have you been doing this?
Actually, reporting police. Couple months.
Oh, so pretty new.
Yeah, I'm very new.
What about your son?
So, that was his first time he'd ever.
Because we don't get a lot, but we get people down here once in a while that they want to come up and ask us trick questions, or they want to, what do you think about, Black Lives Matter, or what do you think about stuff that's not relevant to anything that's happening right then and there.
Yep.
And we're used to it. We don't comment on stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yep. But other than that, I have nothing. So, sir, I appreciate your time.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Well, feel free to come by anytime. Like I said, we're not always here. Sometimes we're out. I just happen to be here because I'm doing some typing. But if you have questions, issues.
Well, you'll see me on the streets. So just, hey, Ken.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have any of those, feel free to call dispatch. Tell them you're out in front of the station, and if I'm here, I'll come out.
That'll work.
And if I'm not here, I'll either ride my bike over or drive my car over, or answer whatever question you have.
That'll work.
Okay.
I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for your time.
Anything else, let me know.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Appreciate it. Yo, guys, I gotta sit. My back is really hurting. Oh. Hey guys, sorry. My back locked up and my legs locked up. I had to sit down for a minute. I had a pin hitting a nerve in my back, and I had to sit down. I'm getting ready to get back up though. I got a broken back, or I had a broken back. It's still in the healing process. So, oh, oh. So how'd everybody like that? Sorry, I was holding it to my chest. So, boy, I would really like somebody to dissect that video about what that lieutenant did and get back to me on what he should have done. Well, you all saw he wasn't gonna take no report. So is Black Label taking calls right now? I'd like to see what he says about that. Thank you. I held my anger better than you. That's funny. Oh. All right, guys, I'm gonna put that right there for a second until I can get in my truck. Oh. Oh, really? Well, let me go see if I can get on the phone with him. I'm gonna go ahead and end this and see if I can call. Hey, do you have his hold on, what's the number to call in? Hold on, give me a minute, I gotta get a pencil. Gen T, what's that number to call in on his show? I know, he wouldn't, like he doesn't give a shit. Believe me, it was very hard not to, yeah, Black Label's number for the show. I need to memorize that. Perfectly. If I can get that phone number, should be listed on his screen. If somebody could give me that phone number, I'll call him now. 240-452-0199. All right, I'm gonna end my live stream and I'm gonna call him right now. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gen T.